Hi boys and girls, this week we're going to be making winter portraits with colorful mittens. You will be needing your crayons, construction paper, sketchbook, pencil, glue, and scissors. So, first thing you need to do is draw your portrait. So we're going to put our paper this way to draw our portrait because we need to put our mittens on our paper next to us. We're going to do kind of like a Home Alone face with our mittens. So we need to start with the portrait by drawing an oval right in the middle of your paper, right here. That's going to be your face. We're going to make mittens out of construction paper. We're going to add them here, and we'll make a hat out of construction paper, and we'll add that onto the paper as well. But at that point, we'll take this out of the sketchbook, and it can go right off the top of the paper. All right, so I'm ready for my face. So whenever you draw a portrait, there's a lot of basic things you need to know. Number one, your eyes are halfway between the top and the bottom of your head. So I'm going to say this is the top of my head and this is the bottom. So I'm going to draw a light, very light line down the middle and a very light line through the middle of that. This is where my eyes go. So I'm just going to put a little circle there and a very tiny circle there. That's where I'm going to start with my eyes. My nose is going to come down to about there, and then my mouth, the center of my mouth will be about there. So what you have is two tiny dots, a little line, and a line that's going to be the center of your mouth. Then I can think about the shape of my face. Well, most people's faces aren't quite a perfect or oval. They come up a little here from the chin and more of a slant. So I'm going to get rid of that line. And I'll get rid of that line. Your eyebrows are up over your eyes. So why don't we start with our eyes? We want to put a space in between our eyes. So I'm going to draw a mark there and a mark there. Here's my center line right there. I'm going to go down and back up to that eyeball line, down, up, and back down. Here's the center of my eye. I'm going to draw almost a whole circle, but not quite, right there. And that's going to be the center of my eye there. And I want to match this to be the same size. So this needs to go to about here. I better erase the center of that eye because it's going to be a little off. Down and up and down. I put this eye off a little this side, so I'm going to put this one off a little to this side, like kind of like I'm looking like that way. The trickiest part of drawing portraits is trying to get those eyes to be the same. Now, before I do any more details in the eyes, I want to draw my eyebrows just as a line there and there. And then imagine that they come down. That forms, your eyebrows actually go right into the bridge of your nose. The bridge of your nose is that part of your nose that goes between your eyes. So I'm going to bring this down. And it's going to get wider as it comes down closer to the bottom. So here's the bottom of my nose. The middle of your nose goes out the most, and then you can add your nostrils, not quite as low. And I'm going to go kind of like this. I'll erase that line now because I don't need that, and I'll fix that tip up so I don't have all these extra marks. So look at a mirror if you want to really get your nose, but that's a good way to get started. All right, now I can add more details to my eyes. I'm going to add another line here and another line here. Those are my eyelids that are right where my eyelashes grow out of, and I can darken that in. I can make a little mark here and a little mark here. That's where my tears come out. All right, you following me? We'll thicken up their eyebrows when we use the color. For our lips, go down about so far, and then draw a V or a U shape, and then come back down to that line. You can go more rounded like that. I'm gonna go with the more rounded look. Not too many people have that sharp angle like that. Then I'm gonna kind of curl this up, draw a little line there, little line there. This is gonna be the center of my mouth. I'm gonna make it dip down a little bit like that. I don't want it to be straight across. And then my lower lip, it's kind of like a big U, like so. Alright, and then I always like to draw my chin, like a little chin line there. And while I'm at it, I'll draw my neck. And I'm ready for ears. Go straight across from your eyebrows. That'll be the top of my ear. Just kind of like a real shallow question mark or a C. Not quite a C because it dips in right there. They're about the same length there. And I'm going to hold off on my hair. I want you to focus on how your hair comes down just here because we're going to put a hat on here. So just imagine this is going to be cut off like this. What does your hair look like? Does it come down below your hat or does it stay up above your hat? So if this was your hat, where is your hair? My hair comes down in front of my ears like that, and it goes on the sides of my ears. It actually goes over my ears in a few spots. So I want to make some marks there. So my hat's going to be down here like this. My hat's going to curl up and go way up here. All right. Now I'm ready for the next part, and that's the color. And that's why I didn't draw my eyebrows, and I really didn't want to draw too much hair. And I'm actually going to erase that hair back a little bit so it doesn't overpower my color. And I'm going to color that in. So I'm going to pause that while I do it. Alright, I finished coloring in my face. Guess why I didn't color in this part? What's that? No, not because I got tired of coloring, because that's where my hat's going. So, next I want to make my mittens. So my mittens are going to go here and here. So we're going to take a sheet of paper and we're going to fold it in half. Why, you say? Because this way we only have to make one mitten drawing, and we'll cut it out, and then we'll have two mittens that are identical. Because aren't mittens the same when you buy a pair? They're about the same, except well, you have your left mitten and your right mitten. But actually, some mittens, you could put them on either hand, depends on how they're made. I'm going to use I want you to use a pencil, but I'm going to use a white crayon to show you how big I want these to be. I want them to be really big. So, we're going to start by going up really high, make a curve, but we have to leave room for our thumb here. So I'm going to go about to here, curve down, stop, curve up, and then curve back down. You don't have to do it again, but if you mess up, you can go to the other side or you can open it up and try it again. Now I'm going to cut both of these out at the same time. Keep your papers together. There, now there's my mitten. Isn't that wonderful? Just kidding. There's my mittens. So they're going to go kind of like this. We're going to have them coming out. Like, hey, look at me. Kind of like if you've ever seen the movie Home Alone, where he puts his hands up on his face and he screams. That's kind of the look we're going for here. So now I need to add patterns and colors to my mitten. So let me move my face out of there. And I'm going to divide these up into rows. You could go up and down like this, or you can go across like this. So I'm going to go across. So I'm going to use my white crayon to just make some rows across my mittens. And I'm going to use my crayons to make patterns. Let's see, 1, 2, I want to actually match these up so they're the same. So I line these up. These lines go straight across both mittens. I want to do the same thing on each mitten so they're a matching set. You don't have to, but that's how I am. I just want them to match. So now I'm going to get some colors out that I want to use. I want to stick to the same group of colors. And since I have blue, it's going to be a little tricky because I can't really color blue on blue, but I can color other colors on blue. So I'm going to go for some blue-green, some forest green, regular green, orange-yellow, maize, this is another kind of yellow, and get a violet. And just to be fun, I have silver, so I'm going to use silver too. And actually, I'm going to draw all my lines out in silver. You can do this in white. Silver works well. Any really light color. So I want to draw my designs that I'm going to color in. So I'm going to make some zigzags on the bottom row. And I'll make some curvy lines going through this row. And let's see, I'll make some stripes across on this section. Oh, that goes right through the thumb. I'll make stripes going vertically on this section. And I'll do a shape. No, I'm going to do X's on this one. X, 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 which makes diamonds. And then for the top, I'm just going to go make a curve and a curve. There. Now I'm ready for color. So I'm going to color in patterns. So I think I gotta use my silver more. I'm gonna do a pattern with silver here. So I don't usually have silver crayons, but I bought an old box of crayons and it had silver in it. And it's the first time I've used it. It's kind of a fun color to have. And I'll go over to this mitten and do the same pattern. That's your choice. If you want to make the other mitten totally different, you can. My daughters had socks like that where they actually bought them where there wasn't a matching pair. They were all different. They're kind of fun. All right, I'll do that with. I'm trying to do that with this orange yellow. See how that looks. No, no, no. How about this color? Nope. I'm going with green. Silver and green. That's all right. So I'm making a pattern, and I'm going to fill in all my mittens, and then I'll come back and show you how to attach them, and we'll go on and then make our hat last. We have to make the hat last because we have to take our picture out of the sketchbook to make the hat. Alright, I'm all finished coloring my mittens in. Now I'm ready to take this picture out of my sketchbook and trim it and attach my mittens. So I have to trim this edge off. Just trim the edge, don't go crazy and take a whole bunch of paper off. So I just trimmed the bare minimum off there. I want to put these on so they kind of go right up to my face like this. Kind of go on my face like, oh no, there's burglars in my house. If you've seen Home Alone, that's kind of the premise of it. So I'm going to glue these on now. And we can leave the background white because it's supposed to be winter. I only put glue where it's going to go. So I made sure I didn't put glue where it's hanging off, or I tried to at least. So there's one. Got a little on my table. Good thing I have washable glue. Let's see. Why don't I take a better look at how this goes on? So I need my whole thumb, and then I'll just get some of this. It's okay if it flaps a little. Yeah, that one's better. Alright, there's my mittens. Oh no! And now I'm ready to make my hat. And this is why I didn't make my hat right away. I need to know how big it's going to be. So I'll get another sheet of colored paper, and I'll see. I guess I'll go with green. And I'm going to put it right on that line. And then I'm going to draw my hat on here with pencil. So I want it to come curl up here. And this is going to be the part, like the band that goes around my hat. And then it's going to come up like that. Now I can cut it out. Make sure you don't cut this part off. Keep it separate. Alright, so that's going to be my hat. I have to decide, do I want to put a little ball on the top or just leave it? I'm going to put a ball on top, and I'm going to use some of my blue paper. I'm going to cut out a circle. I found out why they put balls on the tops of hats. Well, they're really just decorations for winter hats, but they started putting balls on the tops of hats for sailors because when they were in areas where the ceilings were very low, especially on submarines, the ball of the hat the idea was that it would hit it, and you would feel that hitting, and then you would know that the ceiling was that low, and you would stay down. So that's where the idea came from. Now people just have decorations on the tops of their hats. Alright, just like the mittens, now I'm going to put a pattern on, and once my pattern's finished, my picture is complete. So it's going to more or less look like this, except be complete. And I'll include a photograph of my finished picture when it's done.